question is, was he a better passer or runner? We don't know, but I can tell you this. 3!
You know, Logan, you were on the road. Santana, you were on the road. Brian, Fred, we left you at the studio.
Yeah.
Logan was at that Senior Bowl. He had some clips for you guys.
They sent the wrong man.
Commanders family, you might have heard it already, but it's official. Quarterback Jayden Daniels is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And me and the fellas talk why JD5's first year in the league may have been the best of all time. Plus, the prospect professor, Logan Paulson, is going inside the film room to break down some offensive line prospects that he saw at the Senior Bowl. And Super Bowl champion and future Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell joins us from out at Radio Row in NOLA to recap the Commanders season and talk about the big game. We're talking Super Bowl in New Orleans. All that and more, Commanders family, starts right now.
Jayden Daniels is such a revelation.
Let's go!
In comes a kid leading the Why Not Us Washington Commanders in a way we have never seen a team led by a rookie quarterback.
Nice moves, Daniels! Escapes.
That's a first down.
He shows toughness, and he's like a key card guy. First guy in the building, last guy out of the building.
Davis locked it up towards McClure, and he's open over his shoulder. Touchdown! Jayden Daniels, end zone. Caught for the touchdown.
He just continues to complete footballs, man. This kid has been on fire.
Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! Gets to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! Zone, it is caught for a touchdown by McClure. Come on, man. I do this, man.
Welcome into Command Center. Brian Cooper Jr. here with Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, and Logan Paulson. And fellas, y'all heard the news. Jayden Daniels was named by the NFL as the Offensive Rookie of the Year. No surprise there, right, fellas?
I was going to say, are you surprised?
I was going to say, no surprise at all, right?
No, I'm not surprised, but I got to say this. Not only did he win the Rookie of the Year, he miles away blew people away.
Right. Yeah.
As the best rookie football player of all time, and that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he was special this year. I mean, we get to see it firsthand, and I think sometimes we don't appreciate how special it was, man. But the decision-making, the poise, the big playability, kind of what he did for the city, what he did for the team. I mean, I know that shouldn't factor in, but for me, probably after week 10, man, it wasn't even close. And Brock Bowers had a great year, Bo Nix had a great year, but he was head and shoulders above those guys.
And then not only to be special, but he was a guy that came in and said, I'm going for C.J. Stroud,
for sure.
you know, records. Everything that C.J. did his first year, I'm going for it. And you look at that and say, man, that's kind of hard because this kid went out there and played the playoff game, won a playoff game, and you saying you're going to have a better season than that, and he did that. He topped that. So, no, I mean, I think it's one of those things when you look at him now you already waiting and expecting what's next. You know what I mean?
JD5 keeps adding to those accolades. Let's take a look at the sounds and the sights from the NFL Honors. It's time for your can't miss moment, presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders.
Let's hear what Jayden Daniels had to say after earning the award for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
2024 AP Offensive Rookie of the Year is
Jayden Daniels!
Man, where I'll start? Crazy. First and foremost, I want to thank God, for allowing me to be in this presence of greatness, being on this stage, man. I want to thank my mom that's in the stands. I want to thank my family back home. Shout out to y'all for helping me get to this point. Washington Commanders, Josh Harris, and all you guys. Thank you guys for changing my life, for drafting me. Everybody back home, the DMV. The Washington fan base, man, appreciate you guys. Shout out to my boys, Malik and Brian, man, love y'all. Couldn't be at this point without y'all. I know we was competing each and every week, man, but love y'all and thank you to everybody.
Now it's time for Top 5, presented by UA Local 5 Plumbers, protecting the health of the nation's capital since 1890. Now, normally we give you 5 highlights. However, Jayden Daniels broke a lot of records, so this graphic right here is the numbers for him, and 5 of these, there was more, but 5 of these are things we're gonna point out. Fred, give me my first number. 1! Most rushing yards record right there, 891, fellas. That boy got some legs on.
Unbelievable when Mike Vick, Randall Cunningham, and all these guys played in this.
Lamar Jackson.
He's the man.
And drive extending plays here. Just drive extending plays.
Team me up, Fred. 2 total touchdowns by a rookie quarterback in the regular season with 31, fellas.
I mean,
incredible.
It's so many quarterbacks came through this league. You name them. I mean, damn, it's amazing.
The question is, was he a better passer or runner? We don't know, but I can tell you this. 3
total passing yards, 3,568. Fred, you gonna play them numbers today?
I'm always gonna play them numbers right there. I'm gonna play them in the lottery this week.
4 most passing yards in the playoffs for a rookie quarterback. That was Jayden Daniels, and he didn't even make it all the way, Fred.
I mean, that's legit impressive. Like, because again, you're playing quality football teams, high-level defenses, and to do that is really impressive.
Usually I walk up to people, hold my hand out, and tell them, "Give me 5!"
First player to record over 1,000 passing yards and over 250 rushing yards in his first
I'm just over here
games.
laughing. Don't ask me nothing.
Fellas, man, it's always fun to have fun when you look at these graphics. But dogs, we gotta talk Jayden Daniels and give him the love he deserves. Let's make this formation like we the Temptations over here. Tanner, I'm gonna start with you.
All right.
Jayden Daniels, what an incredible rookie season. You see these numbers, it's fun to mess around with it, but brother, these are so impressive. We've never seen nothing like this before.
No, it's amazing, man. I mean, I think, as a player that played in this league, you always kind of have that little thing in the back of your head, like, let me not just, get too high. You're expecting something else than what you've been seeing, because normally the teams kind of figure them out. They figure things out, figure something more out about you as a player, especially your first year. But it just goes to show you how good he was, because he made it harder for him week after week after week. So I'm lost for words when I come to talking about this guy.
When everybody talks about this kid, the first thing they say is poise. Poise, poise, poise. Nothing was too big for him. No game was too big for him. The NFC Championship game was not too big for him. Another P is preparation. He was so poised because he went into the game and he knew everything from the top to the bottom.
Right.
The third P is protect the ball, because that's what this kid did. At a high clip, as much as he threw the ball, he protected the ball. No fumbling, not many picks. It was great. You want me to get another pick?
I got a fourth pick.
The Paulson.
Playmaking, right? Playmaking. Right? I think that's the thing that really sticks out to me about him is like the poise, all that stuff's important. But the moment was never too big, and he could always make plays. You could count them. Third down, red zone, any type of situational football, 2 minute. That's what differentiated him, and that's what made this especially unique.
And Logan, a big part of that playmaking was his ability to rush the ball. Again, 891 total rushing yards for a record. How dynamic is a guy like Jayden Daniels when he's just as good in that pocket as he is good scrambling?
Well, I think the thing that Fred talked about is like he's played in a league with a lot of like famous rushers, Michael Vick, Cunningham. This was different, man. His ability to just keep the offense on schedule, get you first downs, allow the offense to possess the football, it was so big. And the ability to consistently make those decisions in those moments and not take sacks, not make negative plays. Again, the poise, the composure, all that stuff, it shows up in that running statistic.
And because he could possess the ball, when I say possess it, making those runs on third down, making those runs on fourth down, extending drives, keeping other teams out the way. He barely let Tressway punt the entire year because he was so lethal on fourth down.
And not only that, most of those guys you mentioned about running the ball at the quarterback position, it was designed runs.
Exactly.
We hardly had designed runs for this guy. He just found a way to make something happen when he needed to. So that's impressive in itself.
And Tanner, you had to play with a ton of quarterbacks. You know a thing or two about that quarterback wide receiver chemistry. Jayden Daniels connected with everybody. It seemed like every single week he was finding a new special target. How great was that to see him be able to build chemistry so quickly with this team?
Well, I think it's a different talk when you're talking about a quarterback that's actually going to make you a better receiver. We have so many receivers in this league that you look at him and say, man, well, that quarterback is playing with a special talent out there. All you got to do is give him the ball. But no, you had a guy in Jayden Daniels that was throwing you open half of the time, throwing the ball before you come out of your break. Most of the time. We talked about that play, the 2-point throw in the NFC Championship game. Unbelievable. We sitting there, and I'm like, I see him flick his wrist, and boop, receiver catches the ball. So he did those things to make these guys have that comfortability with him and be able to go out there and make the plays that
I wish I could have did that. Boop.
And Fred, man, you used the word poise, and I think that's what impressed us most about Jayden Daniels. Was what between the ears, man. He was so smart, wise beyond his years. What do you want to see from him as we move forward to his second NFL season?
I want to see him to continue to grow. That's what football players do. The day that you plateau is the day that you start to retire from the game. I want to see. I don't want to see the sophomore slump, and I don't think we will see one because of the way he get prepared for a game and just the love that he puts in off the field and all the works he puts in. And the first message that I got, I'm ready for next year, was, you invited me to the Pro Bowl, I don't want to come. I'm finna go put in work. So he's starting his football season right now. That's the leader I want. That's the leader I got. He's the force multiplier, Jedi 5.
What a first season for rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels. What a first season for head coach Dan Quinn. You know somebody that I know is really happy about all this? Our owner Josh Harris. I caught up with Josh Harris to talk about DQ and Jayden Daniels.
Look at that boy.
It's time for Best Seat in the House, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Yes, sir. And those expectations grow when you have a star quarterback.
Yes,
and it's not every day you get a star quarterback as a rookie. But that's what Jayden Daniels was. He was a star this year. Talk about what you saw from your rookie quarterback and why you're so excited about the future for Jayden Daniels.
Well, first of all, Adam and Dan, from the very beginning, identified Jayden as a commander, as the person they wanted, and there was just no question. Obviously, we had the second pick, not the first pick, but they were really locked in on Jayden, and Jayden has, proven them right in spades and more. Right? No one expected Jayden, his tireless work ethic. His ability to motivate the team and veterans. It's very hard for someone who hasn't been there and through the hard knocks to motivate people like Frank Louisville and Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz and all of the other vets. And he is able to gain their respect from day one. And then obviously just his talent.
Yes.
Who he is, his ability to avoid, getting tackled, his ability to move around, his ability to throw and, hit people. So we're incredibly excited to have Jayden, and we see him being, the anchor of our future. But, we need to do our job and put an amazing. It's not just one person. There needs to be an amazing group of people around him, and we're hard at work doing that right now in the offseason.
Always a pleasure getting to sit down with our owner, Mr. Josh Harris. And what a way to recap this incredible season. Let's take a look at how Dan Quinn's first season stacked up. He not only led the team to their first NFC championship since 1991, he was also the only head coach in franchise history to win multiple playoff games in his first season. And of course, with that 12-5 record, he made himself an AP Coach of the Year finalist. What a season for our guy, head coach Dan Quinn. And fellas, it's crazy to think that DQ has already been here for 1 year. Let's take a look back on that momentous day when DQ first stepped in the building.
The Washington Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The thing that Dan Quinn will do is he'll galvanize a football team.
DC, it's the line of the day.
We want really tough, competitive-ass guys that are going to absolutely go for it. That's the trait. That's the secret sauce. And the more people we have on that, you're going to hear us see competition, talk competition at every corner.
It's all about your mindset. What were you willing to do today, dog? Lay it on the line. This will be our last chance. If not, lay it on the line further, bro. We do this for each other. Not the outside noise, the inside noise. Don't feel me?
Why would we not put them into anything other than this competitive cauldron to roll? And so that's what we plan on doing over and over and over again.
Fellas, it's crazy to think it's already been a year since DQ walked into that building, and what a first year he had. Logan, you heard me talk with Josh Harris about the way he was able to establish a culture in here so quickly. Josh Harris said he's never seen them like that before. Have you?
I've never seen anything like that before, but I think that is what Dan Quinn's superpower is, right? His ability to kind of bring people together. His messaging has been incredibly consistent throughout the year. The one thing I will say, it's not him by himself, right? I think Adam Peters did a great job of bringing in the right people to kind of adopt that culture. So is the messaging good? Yes, but are the people ready to receive it? That was a huge element also. So it was really that pairing that allowed it to kind of develop so quickly.
And when you talk about the coaches, it goes deeper than that. We got one of the better defensive coordinators in the league, offensive coordinators in the league, running back coach Lynn in the league. So they put a super team together to make this thing happen. But the one thing that I can say about it, I remember going back to watching that film when he was getting off of that plane, and I remember it was a couple of naysayers in the DMV. Why we got a defensive head coach? Why we got this? Why we ain't get this?
A couple of naysayers?
Yeah, a couple of naysayers. But if you fast forward this thing, the ride that they've taken us on, and leadership don't fade. Like this is the tone, this is the set, this is how it's gonna be. And I think it just makes the future that much brighter.
I think it was special just knowing that you didn't have to look that far at what you thought he was gonna bring to this team. I watched just the Cowboys from all the years that I've played, all the years I've been covering this team. And immediately when he came a part of that he got that D coordinator job, that defense looked different. Mm-hmm. So when you have a guy that meant that much to that defense, meant that much to that success as a whole, when he was coming here, I was ecstatic about it because I knew it was going to be a difference. I knew he was going to bring the kind of guys that are going to play the kind of football he showed us when he was over there being the D coordinator in Dallas.
And Fred, you talked about building that super team. It's not just ex-NFL players. It's former NFL head coaches. We saw them pull that together, and all of us said immediately, oh, this is something special. How important is that to have that supporting cast of coaches that Dan Quinn has?
Because Coach Quinn is the overall voice, but the micro voices is the one that we as players hear every day. Yeah. When I need to problem solve, I'm either going to my coordinator or my defensive back coach. So you spend most of the volume of your time with him, while Coach Quinn is more of an overseer. Yeah. He's more of a guy that just literally, I run the whole team. But when you have these personal relationships, and that's why this offseason, every team that came knocking on our door, man, I talked to this coach, man, no, you can't talk to him. No, you can't talk to him. There's respect around the league. We want to take little pieces away from their brainchild to weaken them and strengthen ourselves.
And he's just talking about, I think, like the coordinators and Dan Quinn's relationships. I think everyone said, oh, offensive coach, we should have that. He should be the head coach of the future because that offensive system stays. But really, it's your leading men, right? And it's about the relationships you have to build a staff. And I think when you look at Dan Quinn's history, I mean, the ability to get Cliff off the wire, he was committed to another team, get him off the wire, get him here, get Joe Wood Jr. here, like that speaks to his vision for the roster and his relationships. And those relationships, every person you talk to in the NFL touts his relationships and his ability to kind of be that person that's a leadership, a good friend, a good mentor, and I think it showed up here.
And Tana, when I look at head coach Dan Quinn's first year, I really look at his ability to bring along a rookie quarterback in Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels did not look like a rookie. He looked like already an NFL superstar. When you watch that chemistry and how they're able to build that so quickly, what stands out to you?
I guess the guys around him, you know, I guess you can say the different key players that had leadership roles that also was showing Jayden the way. You know what I mean? You having a Bobby there. You know what I mean? You had the guys you had the Ertz, you had Eckler, you had all these guys around him that basically Jayden got a chance to look. And then you had a Mariota. You had a guy that say, I was one shoe.
Yes.
I won that same I won that same trophy. I had the same, I was picked around the same. Everything that you about, everything they're gonna ask of you, I either did it or I stumbled along that way. So I got a guy, he had guys there.
Right.
And then not only the guys, you know, you mentioned something about having Cliff, but look at all the other guys that's on that offensive staff that once called plays, that once had head coaching roles. So, man, it was like phenomenal just to see the makeup of everybody on this team because you had pound for pound somebody that had that leadership role on every level, and then you had a young guy that can listen. He can easily say, I'm going to listen to all these guys, or one or two of these guys going to tell me the right thing, and he had it all right there in-house.
And Logan, when you look at this first year, right, an historic first year for Dan Quinn, but something you talk about a lot is that second year. How tough it is to get that magic again in that second year. Is that something you feel we might see coming into next season?
I mean, absolutely.
I
think one of the things is it gives you confidence is like you've got guys who've been there and done it, right? They've been in the NFL for a long time. They know how hard it is. They understand the rat race. And when you have a staff that understands that, it gives you a fighting chance.
Yeah, and one thing about winning next season is winning this offseason. It starts with the draft. So I'm going to let y'all go ahead that film room. Logan's at that Senior Bowl. He has some clips for you guys. And until then, let's talk a little bit about what we're looking like in this draft.
They sent the wrong man.
The Commanders hold 7 total picks in the 2025 NFL Draft, including the 29th overall pick in the first round. Last week, our very own prospect professor, Logan Paulson, went down to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama to evaluate some of this year's top prospects. He's in the film room right now to show us how we can secure the best prospect possible in this draft. Time for Securing the W, presented by Hercules Fence. Security in every job. Fellas, y'all in that film room, go cook up. Time for Securing the W, presented by Hercules Fence. Security in every job. Fellas, y'all in that film room, go cook up.
Thanks, Brian. All right, guys, I just got back from the Senior Bowl, and anytime we're talking prospects, it's always good to start with the offensive line. We're going to do a little bit more each and every week, but these are the offensive line guys that really stick out to me. They're kind of in tiers here, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of talk through, Gray Zabel, Josh Connerly, Anthony Belton are guys that really stood out. So I thought, I love talking draft. I love talking this kind of stuff, Senior Bowl. And I thought I'd bring some clips and we could talk through some guys, these guys specifically, that had really good days, right? So let's start with this guy, Zabel, man. He's a small school guy that had a really good week, Dan. And we're going to show one-on-ones here. And I just, you've played football for a long time. Why are one-on-ones so important for the evaluation process?
I think one of the things, I'm going to use one of those nerdy kind of, takes on this. Skill set assessment, player development, and then mental toughness. I think that's some of the things that coaches can always evaluate, in us going out there, going against competition, mano a mano.
And once I know you can handle those one-on-one battles by yourself, now when we start to open it up and really game plan and double team and stuff like that, I know you be in lockstep. But to see you with your peers, it could tell me a lot.
Yeah, and it's really just to kind of see, like you're saying, Tanner, the athlete, right? And so this guy, small school guy, North Dakota State, and he's going to get up against some of the best guys in the country, right? And his ability, he played left tackle in college, his ability to kind of keep his base here, see how the defensive tackle's trying to pull him down here. Great job keeping his base, great hand usage, showing that he can compete with some really top-level guys. And I'd say of all the offensive linemen there, he had the best week, because not only did he play guard, he played both guard spots, but he's also playing center. So for a guy that never played center in college to come in and do it at the Senior Bowl. And again, look at the helmet he's going against here, Fred. That's Oregon, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's a big school. That's a big run-stopping guy there to go toe-to-toe with that, to compete, the battle. Like, he really made himself a lot of money.
His feet are typewriter feet. He understands, because even on the first one, when he made the jump step with his left foot, put himself right back with jump cut, he can do a lot. I can tell that he's an athlete.
And so that's a guy that kind of went from maybe a second-round pick, because of this event, probably a first-round pick now. A guy that could be there for their Commanders around that 29 area when they're picking. Next guy here is Belton, man. This guy's a big dude. He's 6'5", 345 pounds, man. Big old hoss. And kind of fits with the mold that I think our offensive line coach enjoys, right? So he played guard and tackle. But, Fred, you talk about feet. When I see a big man get out of his stance like this.
Way before the D.
And look at the balance.
He's athletic.
Athletic, big people. Like, his technique's all over the place. Look at his hands, man. They're grabbing the outside of the shoulder pads. Not ideal.
He clean up the small things, but the raw talent.
But I like athletes, Tanner. Like you were talking about, I can see that athleticism in the one-on-ones. And it's so important. And the guy that can play inside, outside, think about the flexibility that gives you, right? Inside, outside, right? This defensive end here had a really nice week too, but he's 275 pounds. And watch him just eat this bull rush up here. Like, that is an anchor. That is a base. That is strength, right? So this is where you get to see these guys in these one-on-one situations being physical up front. And this guy's probably the best tackle there. Connerly from Oregon did a great job. And Fred, I love that you said feet for the offensive lineman, because really you're trying to find big athletes. And watch this guy's feet. I'm just going to sit here, get in phase. See, I'm not that big, right? I got to add a little bit of weight.
Low center of gravity.
But I got to work my feet, my footwork's there, and I got to just get a little bit stronger. So that's what I see with this guy. And again, when you're looking at the Commanders and things to improve on, these are the pieces that really get you excited, right? These young, developmental, big athletes. And again, this guy, Ursary from Minnesota, dude. And this is, he's an excellent football player. This is Mike Green, kind of the #1 edge there. And watch him get on this line here. He's going to kick set. Get in line, pause right there. See how he's got the
He's already there.
He's already on the line, man. And he's big, he's a little slow-footed, but not slow-footed in pass protection. And so when you see a guy like this who can lock down the #1 pass rusher in the country, this dude had 17 sacks at Marshall. And he erased him right here. And so seeing these matchups and seeing these young, talented pieces at the Senior Bowl, it's just a really nice kind of start to the evaluation process.
Which one of these guys can we add to the wild boars? That's all the question. Because if we can say anything in the NFC Championship, we seen the difference in the trenches. This is what changes that.
This is what changes that. And also, next week we're probably going to look at defensive ends, look at receivers, introduce you guys to all these prospects over the next couple of weeks.
Fellas, always great to see y'all in that film room. Now, Commanders family, we know you're wondering, it's the offseason. Are we going to be still getting all of our content? Well, don't worry. Your Command Center crew has you covered all offseason long. We still have the Command Center podcast. We have, of course, the flagship show, Command Center. We have the Get Loud podcast with Fred Smoot and Mike Jenks. Then we have Ticket to the Draft, where Logan Paulson gets you ready for all things draft. We have plenty of content for y'all all season long. Now, there's one last stop before the official end of the NFL season, and that's, of course, the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are gearing up for Sunday's game from out in NOLA. Now, a special member of the Command Center family, he left us. He's out on Radio Row in his home state of Louisiana. We got to welcome in Super Bowl champion and future Hall of Famer, our game day analyst, Brian Mitchell. Welcoming in Super Bowl champion and future Hall of Famer, our buddy from the Game Day crew. He left us. He's out in NOLA right now. Welcoming in Brian Mitchell. B. Mitch, man, we have not seen you since the season ended. Last time we saw you, we were in Philly. B, give us how you are feeling about the 2024 season for the Washington Commanders.
I'm very happy about this team. I was just talking to Hugh Douglas, and he was like, look, man, y'all going to be a problem moving forward. And I believe that. You know, I think what Jayden and the crew did this year, that's something they could build on. When they improve in those positions, the offensive line, defensive line, it's going to make this team better. And you're going to see a lot of guys out there that are going to want to come to Washington and play some football. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been through the years where I felt bad. Now I'm excited. I can't wait for the offseason to get started.
Brian, you're talking about how excited you are, and how excited, you've covered this team for a long time. How excited are you now for the fan base that they've got something to root for, and then how successful this last season was?
Well, you know what? The fan base, they've been there. They've been supporting this team for a long time. And when you see them as happy as they were, you know, Logan, you were on the road. Santana, you were on the road. Brian, Fred, we left you at the studio.
Yeah.
When you see all those people that were going out there on the road, it tells you how happy they are, you know, and it's well-deserving because they've been waiting a long time, and they came out and drove to support this team this year, and I only look forward to them doing it even more.
Hey, B, I was just telling those guys how much of a letdown it's been this past weekend not having nowhere to go. You know, how disappointing was you to actually, you know, it's one thing of losing that game up there in Philly and knowing that we was done for the year, but to actually have nothing to do, what was that like for you? Because I was miserable, man.
Well, you know what? I booked my flight to come down Sunday morning.
So you had something to do.
So I landed Sunday morning. I met some buddies, started playing some golf, and I had to do something because I felt like I was lost. You know, we got spoiled this year, and I look forward to being spoiled even more. But I know we always look forward to it, getting out on the road, having the games to go to. And then when this weekend came, I was like, you know, my wife said, "When you leaving?" I said, I'm supposed to leave Sunday. I left out on Sunday.
I hate to say this, but it is the truth. The one thing you do know something about, B. Mitch, is you know how to win some football games. You've been there on winning season. You have more winning season than losing season. How's it going to be for this team to have to repurpose and restart after a year where they got on such a high, made it to the NFC Championship, and now you got to clear the slate and do it all over again? You know how it feels to go to a Super Bowl and then come back the next year.
Yep.
How hard is it the next year when it's expectations, we won't be sneaking up on anybody?
Well, we won't sneak up on anybody, but, you know, it's also easier for guys to get back into the gym, to get back to working. When you lose sometime and you're down in the dumps and you're feeling bad, you don't really come back and try to do things. But when you've done a lot of good in the season, it makes you excited about going back. So I believe that the leaders on this team are going to be able to tell guys, look, man, look what happened last year. We stuck together. Okay, and you're gonna have guys still. I think Wagner will be back. That's what I'm hoping to put it out there. Jayden Daniels. When you have guys like that on your team, the big name guys that are leading the way, it's easy to get back to it. And then they have a coach who shows them that he believes in them. And I think a lot of these guys will run through a wall for Dan.
B, I can't lie. I got to echo Tanner, man. I'm hurting seeing you out in New Orleans without us, man. It's looking like a good time. You're all at Radio Row right now, and I got to imagine, I know you've been at Radio Row a bunch, but I got to imagine this year's a little different because now you're around all that national media, and I got to imagine the conversation around the Washington Commanders is a lot different this offseason.
Everybody wants to talk about the Commanders, you know, and I say, I changed, right? This is no longer Radio Row to me. This is Media Row. Man, we got all these podcasts from all over the world. We got all the TV people doing all their thing. Yesterday, Monday, normally when you get to Radio Row, it's empty. Yesterday had more people than I normally see on Wednesdays. You know, it gets busier and busier. Today, it's 2 times more people than it was yesterday. So, but everybody wants to talk about that football team and what we did. And Jayden Daniels, his name always pops up.
It always pops up. And B, we always appreciate when you pop up on Command Center, man. I know you're about to go enjoy some good food, some good golf, and maybe a good drink or two. Shout out to future Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, fellas, we gave London a lot of love. Let's look at Brian Mitchell's numbers because they are definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
Second to Jerry Rice.
Shout out to our guy, B. Mitch. Now it's time for our winning numbers presented by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And I mentioned earlier, Brian Mitchell, those numbers do not lie. He is a future Hall of Famer, and it is for this reason. He holds a few of those NFL records. Now, he would have the total yardage records, but he is slightly behind Jerry Rice. Hey, can't blame him for that one. Kickoff return yards, punt return yards, and postseason kickoff return yards. B. Mitch holds all of those records in the NFL. And 13 special team touchdowns for number 30. And remember, all these numbers were by somebody who never returned a kick a day in his life before getting into NFL. We got to get that boy, B. Mitch, into the Hall. Fellas, this weekend is the Super Bowl. I know none of us give a damn about the Super Bowl, but one thing we all love is a good party, especially you, Fred, and some good food. So what we're going to do right now, our amazing producers put this together for us. So all of us have written down on these whiteboards what we would bring to a Super Bowl party at a neutral venue hosted by Command Center, okay? Now, what we got to do is guess what our counterparts would bring to said party. Make sense? Okay, so we're going to start with Logan Paulson first. Fred, what is your bestie bringing to the Command Center Super Bowl party?
Asparagus.
It's good, yeah.
We'll put vegetable.
Solid, yes.
Okay, vegetable.
He'll probably bring a protein platter. Not the shake, but it'd be like full of, Paul's meats. You know what I mean? Salami, you name it. All kind of different meats.
With some power bars in there.
Perfect, yep.
Honestly, y'all took my guesses, so I'm going to say water, but not just any water. He's bringing those jugs of water, gallons of water for every person to walk around just like you walk around. Logan.
Yeah, I think Tana's got it. I said grilled chicken, unseasoned grilled chicken. There's never enough good protein sources at these parties. I'm worried about you guys, really. When I bring chicken, I'm like, you guys, I'm worried about your macros.
Why are you worried about our macros?
Because, man, we got to make sure we're getting the gains, bro. You're in the gym all the time. What are we talking about?
Fred is in peak shape.
No.
So
this is what greatness looks like.
Fred's on his bike, right?
Performance looks like.
Well, Fred smooth.
Stop showing me your paper, man.
Since you keep showing Logan and me your paper, we are going to guess what we think the baker, the chef, the wordsmith, Fred Smoot, is bringing to the Command Center Super Bowl party. Logan, what you think he's bringing?
He's bringing the drama. I know what he's bringing. He's bringing a bobcat. He's lighting someone on fire. That's what he's bringing.
You hear me now?
Straight jokes. That's what he brings. All he gonna bring is jokes. He always gets invited to a cook-off with B. Mitch, and B. Mitch cooks, and Fred come there with the jokes and eat the food. So that's what he do.
All the time.
I'm gonna guess Fred. He's a party guy. I'm guessing Fred bringing some of that Jack Daniels to
You
the
could
party.
get close, but y'all are wrong. I'm bringing 3 things to the party.
What you got?
One, I'm bringing love to the party. All right? Because I love everybody. 2, my boy Bluefoot. I'm bringing my boy Blue.
Why are you bringing him? Why?
Because I don't go nowhere without him. Bringing my boy Bluefoot because he big.
Because he big?
And the food that I'm bringing, I'm roasting a whole hog.
No, you're not.
In honor
of
the Super Bowl team. From Washington. The whole hog.
On a spit roast?
No. You dig a hole in the ground, fill it up with charcoals, and I'm going to bury that hog in that charcoal.
You're not doing that.
For like 12 hours.
You're not doing that.
I don't think Fred's bringing love. That ain't love. There's a lot of things when it comes to a
That ain't love for the hog.
Love ain't one of them.
That ain't messing with you no more.
And Tana, we gotta guess Santana Moss, Mr. Cool, Mr. 8 to the 9. What would he
Let me
bring
see what y'all got on y'all mind for
to
your boy.
a party or a function? Fred, we're gonna start with you.
Conkin fries. That old Miami
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, all right. Tana likes that.
Like some type of baked good, Tana? Like, I don't know, like cookies
Maybe
or
some
muffins?
tea.
Or something?
You know he loves tea.
That's a good one.
Tana, I think you bringing cards. I think you seem like a gambling type,
I like
safe
that.
gambling. That's how you bring some cards and some dice.
I should have said that, but all y'all wrong.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm bringing the T.O. and I'm bringing the chip mix. And the reason why I picked chip mix, Because I'm one of them picky eaters. I don't want to mess up nobody's food, so I'm getting a bunch of bag of chips. I'm going to get a big bowl. Hey, guess what?
That boy bringing trail mix. I closed the door.
When you said T, you meant Tito's, right?
Yeah, definitely meant Tito's. I knew.
Damn. I should have said that.
So keep it simple, baby.
I am the last one.
Yeah.
What do y'all think y'all boy BC is bringing to the Super Bowl?
Well, I know you ain't bringing no peanuts.
I thought Fred was going to bring some peanuts just to hurt him. Yeah, Tanner, we're going to start with you. What am I bringing, brother?
Let me see what BC bringing. BC like them like hot dogs and sausage sandwiches. So I'm gonna say
I'll bring you glizzy.
Bring the glizzy.
Hey, that is my game day snack.
Which ain't a bad thing.
What we got?
I'll say you're not a main entree bringer guy. You a side dish guy. All right? You gonna bring that potato salad with the raisins.
Oh, you're gonna do the man like that.
Don't put me in that box, brother. That's your response.
That's my thing. I'm bringing that.
Logan, what you bring? What do you think I'm bringing?
I don't know. Fruit salad? What are you bringing?
Fruit salad. You know what, fellas? Y'all were all wrong. I'm not bringing a damn thing. Because right now, I am surrounded by ex-NFL players that are far richer than me. And one thing I have a rule about, if they got more money than me, I ain't paying. Amen to that, y'all. I think we would have a really good Super Bowl party. I think I'm bringing the best thing.
I can dig it.
I'm bringing 3 things plus a person.
Nobody want Bluefoot at the party. Command Center crew. We had some fun here talking Super Bowl. We hope you guys enjoyed y'all Super Bowl weekend, even though the Washington Commanders will not be there, but we still got time next season. For Logan Paulson, Fred Smoot, Santana Moss, I'm Brian Cooper Jr. Shout out to B. Mitch out in New Orleans. We'll holler at y'all next week.
Peace.
May your foot be blue.